Yeah. Time to get the kitchen cleaned up a little bit here. It's kind of a bit messy, I would say. Oh, okay. Dirty dishes. All right. Get that queued up. I would be in the White House press corps. I'd be like, why are you guys lying about fucking everything all the time? Well, we like to refer you to the DOJ. Blah, 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 blah. That's all they fucking do in that shit. I'd like to refer this reporter is. Look at this cutie bomb right over here. That's a cute cutie bomb. She almost looks like she's 18, but she's like 30, right? Dan and Sarah's damn. To again, as I said yesterday, make sure that's a cute one. Oh, she'll never get a chance to talk after that. That she only gets like one question. These bureaucratic fools. So I'm voting for Donald John Trump in the next election. How are his competitors? Not that great, actually. Not impressive. Mike Pence looks like a robot. He looks like a sellout. DeSantis? He's like 30 points down with Trump. Nikki Haley, 1%. Vivek Ramaswamy? Are you fucking kidding me? 1%. Not because he's Indian. It's just this isn't India. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's got to bite for those Colombians and Venezuelans that get here. And they're probably thinking they're going to like take over the country or something like that, right? And they can't because we have laws that only native citizens can run our own country. Now, we have that so that foreign entanglements can't take over our country. That's why we probably never have a Chinese president. Probably not. Because, I mean, a foreign-born Chinese president. Because we don't want the Communist Chinese Party to control the U.S. government, obviously. So, the Colombian American or the Venezuelan American, the foreign American can only go so far. Even a beloved figure like Arnold Schwarzenegger cannot become the president. They could go as far as governor. That's about it. The farthest you can go being a Colombian, or Venezuelan, or a Mexican, or whatever, or Honduran, the farthest you can go in office in America is the governor of a state. If that far. Maybe, I don't know, I don't know if you could become a senator or congressman being a foreign-born citizen. So, you definitely cannot ever become president of the United States. So, that's just written into the Constitution. That's like you can't amend that law just because you like somebody. Though, I doubt the world would have fucked with President Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? He's Austrian. He's not even a brown or an African or a black or a colored person, but he's a foreigner still. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if he's from fucking Finland or wherever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's from fucking Ireland. It doesn't. It doesn't even matter if 60% of citizens in this country, are related to people in Ireland or England. It doesn't matter what your distant ancestors were. They still can't become fucking president because they're still foreigners. Chris Christie trying to, oh God. This is like people. Okay, so Governor Chris Christie used to have a bit of political capital. He used to be kind of popular back in the day, but that was like in the days of Obama or something. That was a long time ago. That was in the days of the Tea Party. That was in the days like of the Great Recession or a little bit after. That was way back when. So he's trying to cash in now on political chips that I've already spent. And so, no, I don't think you can like sneak in like that. You could be like, I'm Senator McCain. I know he's dead, but I'm saying it's like Mitt Romney trying to become president now. It's just not going to happen. These are some old establishment Republicans, and quite frankly, their political capital may not be spent back in Utah or New Jersey, but on the national stage, their political capital is spent. Okay, Tim Scott, he's black. That's what he's got. He's a black Republican. That's his angle. Is he going to win? No. I'm a good guy. Nice guys finished last. Sorry. I know what people wanted to hear. They wanted to hear that that good guys always win. No, that's not what it is. Okay, so now if you're reading a fairy tale, that works out fine. Like the charming nice guy prince defeats the dragon and gets the girl, and they live happily ever after, right? Okay, but remember that this is real life. So, there may be a yearning for nice guys to be in politics, but it's kind of no such thing. I mean, really. All right, Tim Scott out. African Republican, yeah. Full. He's a full brother too. He ain't half African, half white, right? He's not like Obama. He's not interracial. He's the full brotherhood from the African. He's the full brotherhood, huh? But it's still not gonna get him elected. Asa Hutchinson? No. These redneck guys they're running are like, are you fucking kidding me? Might as well run Billy Ray Cyrus at this fucking point. It's a joke. Especially a guy from Arkansas who looks old and fucking slimy. Hey, y'all. I still have a functioning kidney. Elect me. I don't know about that. Asa Hutchinson. And, you know, really, I hate to be like, you know, one of those comedians who always says, a lot of people don't even know who this motherfucker is. I mean, so, when I lived and worked in Arkansas, All right. If I saw an old slimy redneck guy, I was just like, oh boy. Hey y'all, I'm Arkansas. I love Arkansas, but it's a beautiful state. Okay. There's no doubt that they have nice crystals, nice mountains, nice forests. It's God's country. It's beautiful. You should visit the Ozarks, Wichita Forest, Shangri-La. It's wonderful. But no wonder so many people want to retire there, right? They want to leave the big cities. They want to leave the rat race, and they want to go out to the forests and the mountains and live on the side of a hill or something. Yeah. So that's kind of like the dream. But some butter on there. Yeah. Ba-da-da-da. Oh, some of that in there. Okay. Nikki Haley, South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever. So the Republicans are trotting out these Andy Griffith redneck characters, and it's kind of like the days of Barney Fife and Pig in a Poke and Piggly Wiggly. They're kind of coming to an end. You know what I mean? It was fun back in the 1950s or wherever, but now it's a different time. So, no disrespect to my forebearers, but yeah, it's a different America. There's different technologies. There's new challenges. There's new threats. There's new opportunities. It's an almost entirely different world now than it was in the past. And it is easy to look back and say those were the best days. It's very easy to do that. It's very easy to look back and say, especially after humanity ruined this great country of ours, especially after humans threw our great country down the toilet for the sake of greed and corruption and evil. It's great to just say, well, it's done. It's just a neon sewer toilet, and it's just going to burn in flames. Or you could conserve and preserve and protect and enrich the republic, and revitalize it. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can go to the old neighborhood and plant some new trees, and you could spruce up the neighborhood, and you could make it prosperous, make it great again, if you will. So yeah, we could do that. So that would probably be better. So preserve the forests, preserve nature for the future generations to come. So our offspring, our next us, so that they live in a better world, technologically, medically, psychologically, and hopefully peacefully, and not in some god-awful World War III situation, some kind of nightmare, dystopia. No. Put that pepper on it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, boy. So, yeah, I think it's possible. there's no problem about some people that do look behind and they do remember when America was at its greatest. So, but we don't need somebody who's incompetent like Joe Biden. We don't need like an elderly man who doesn't know where he's going and falling on his ass all the time in a state of cognitive and physical decline. So we don't need somebody like that. We definitely need somebody who's able-bodied, can pass a health and a mental check. So I'm not certain that Biden can do that. He wants to get a second term because he wants to have some sort of legacy, but all he's done it and made the dollar of less value. All they've done is piss off our allies and strengthen our enemies. That's all they've managed to accomplish in the last 4 years. And we really should take not just the White House away from the Democrats. We really should take the Senate, because that's the elite. That's the bureaucratic class. Those are the ones, the rich and wealthy and powerful take the Senate so they can take the money of America. So that is what American citizens should focus on, is getting Democrats out of power in the U.S. Senate so that conservatives and Americans and Republicans can take back the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the executive branch, so we can have a for America First agenda. And our adversaries and fair weather friends last agenda. So this pissing off our allies and strengthening our adversaries is not helping American citizens prosper and grow or even sleep well at night. It's actually doing the opposite effect. So how are the Democrats going to try to maintain power when they're so unpopular? So these elections, which they don't like, because they don't like elections because they actually have to work and they have to protect their seats. And so, and Joe Biden, at almost 82 years old, running next year, he's in no condition or shape to actually run. He's going to try to, the Democrats are trying to sleepwalk him into the White House. Kamala is wildly unpopular. She was a diversity hire. Basically, Kamala Harris is Joe Biden's backup insurance in case something happens to him. She's his insurance in case he does not make it to a second term. So, or that's it. That's his backup. And he picked an Indian African woman on purpose, a woman of color. That was his thing. Now that she's one of the most unpopular persons in high office, and so is Joe Biden, if she does become president, the first Indian African president, female, in the history of the United States, even if it's just for a month, she will get voted out of office. She'll be a 1-month president. I can promise you that. Now, Americans are not voting against her because she's an Indian African female. No, they vote against her because she sucks. She's vapid. She's an idiot. And people don't want an idiot running this country. She can go on, Black Entertainment Network or something. Go on a podcast. Write cookbooks, whatever the fuck. But lead the country? No, I don't think so. This cackling idiot. Horrendous. So Tim Scott's campaign is, I'm African American. Okay. So what's next? I'm a nice guy. Oh, okay. Oh my! If I his main thing is, I'm proof that Americans can make it, and the people of color can make it and do great. That's his like speech, and it's kind of lame. My, my great grandfather was a slave, and my ancestors once picked cotton, and now I pick leaders. It's like going with that angle, eh? It might pull some people in, right? But most people are going to see it for what it is, a bunch of virtue signaling woke bullcrap. It's just a bunch of like, my ancestors used to be. I get it. It's kind of like a Senator Warren thing. Like, my ancient ancestors were Native Americans, so settled this land. You could go with that angle too. I mean, my family is Cherokee Indian down the line. We could be like, and our Cherokee Indian heritage thousands of years ago tamed the wild American continent. We could go there. We could go back into like, one day. We were but peasants running through the forest, using bows and arrows, capturing deer and shit. If you want to go that far back, sure. You can go even further. My ancestors crossed the land bridge into Alaska or something. Discovered a new continent. You can go further back, man. Go back to like when one day our ancestors were African in the trees, in the jungles. You can go back even farther, dude. I don't really care. I mean, is that going to work? I don't know. It works for some people, and then some people realize it's kind of bullcrap. It's kind of like so in a way that hearkening back to the ancient ancestry, it's really, it's kind of clever, but it's kind of stupid too. It's like, yeah. Your ancestors might have been slaves in chains traded from Africa or something like that. But remember that, again, this is the 21st century and these are the 2020s. So we have to bring it up to this particular decade, this time period. But you can harken back to the 1850s if you want to. My ancestors were cowboys and Indians. So, what are we doing now? What are we going to do in the future? Does that occur to anybody? Sure. My ancestors were probably really good at spearfishing, okay? But what are we doing now? It's a good question. So I don't think Tim Scott is going to get on this, my ancestors were slave shit. It's kind of like anybody just coming up with their ancient heritage. Some guys, they go, oh, I'm part Viking. Like, so? Oh, my ancestors were Scandinavian Vikings. And they're like, I'm Viking, I'm strong man, because my ancestors are Viking. I'm just like, okay, that's your fantasy. That's inside your head, and that's fine. And, you're allowed to have delusions of grandeur about your glorious ancient past if you want to. If you have pride in your ancestors or something, that's fine. As long as it doesn't, interfere with my business, I don't really give a fuck. So, that's the key thing. You're allowed to have any kind of delusions and illusions about your ancestral heritage and how grand and great the glory days were or whatever, if you want to. I, of all people, am not going to stop a man from fantasizing about his glorious ancient heritage or something like that. Now, I of course don't want to hear it all the time either. So if some guy wants to talk about, so if I have a friend who's part Viking or something in the ancient world, back in the day, back in the days of Thor and Odin, okay, Scandinavia, I'll be like, all right, cool. Oh, your great great grandfather was a Viking. Oh, neat, neat. He could even show me his shield and if he has any artifacts, like if he has a sword or a helmet. If he has a fucking Viking ship. I don't know, just whatever. He can show me his whole museum. I'll be like, wow, that's that's neat, but that's cool. You had a badass ancestor. Great, but what are we doing now though? So that's awesome, but we're in the 2020s, so I'm so happy for you that your great grandfather was a cowboy. You know, he showed me his spurs and his Colt revolver or whatever. Show me. That's awesome. Show me his saddle and shit. Just show me his. Hell yeah. Just I don't. But definitely I don't want to hear about it all the time. So that is something to consider. Of course, it gets even more ridiculous when you're like, a lot of the people that are related to Navajo and Cherokee tribes in this country and old tribes of America, Native American tribes. It's not really the coolest thing to do is to say, hey, my great grandmother was Navajo Indian. And so people, what is that? Just like good dinner. That's some good like cocktail chatter or something like that. Tell an ancient tale to entertain your friends, and it's good dinner gab or something. Some good fodder. Now, if you're a politician and you're using that heritage as some kind of, you're trying to score political woke points, no bueno. It's not good. So, unfortunately, people like Elizabeth Warren try to say, hey, they're trying to virtue signal, like, hey, my ancestors were Native Americans, so I'm more American than anybody else. They're trying to score political points. It's like, that works for some like stupid people, but it doesn't work for people who know what the fuck that kind of political virtue signaling woke bullshit is. They're hoping that that's going to keep them in power, get them reelected, get them popular or something like that. And Donald Trump doesn't have the problem of trying to be cool. He already is cool. So he's like an American iconoclast. Yeah, so when he golfs, it's cool. When he rides a sports car, it's always cool. When he dates a Slovenian babe, it's cool. When he when he orders McDonald's, it's cool. When he rides down an escalator, it's cool. But some of the other politicians have a problem with being cool. And, like Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, they have to make a maximum effort to try to come across as cool to the American people. And uh, Joe Biden goes to the car factory and he's like, "Look, I'm driving. Aren't I so cool?" And no, you're not. You're not cool. It's not cool. Elizabeth Warren, she drinks a beer. She's like, "Look, I'm drinking a beer on a live stream." It's like, not like anybody gives a fuck, but good try. So the furthest Elizabeth Warren is going to go is the Congress or the Senate or whatever, and that's it. Her political career is done. Now, a lot of that has to do with American voters don't believe like a grandma librarian. Leftist is going to be great as a leader of the United States of America. So that has a lot to do with it. It's kind of like Disney, what they're doing with the movies, or Sony. It's like Mary Jane in the Spider-Man comics. She's a white girl. They make Zendaya a black girl. So they're doing it, and Ariel is a redhead white girl. And I'd like to see my hot white girls again. I mean, where's the white girls at? There's no love for the majestically beautiful white girls, the breathtakingly beautiful Caucasian women. Somehow Disney wants to bury that from the con. Well, I guess in my time, it was when I grew up in the 1980s. Every single lusted after chick, except for some of the brunettes, were smoking hot. The usual heroine for the movies. Besides, I mean, of course, cute brunette girls slip through. That were all American cuties. But generally speaking, the protagonist would usually be brown-haired, plucky white male, and the heroine was usually like a Robin Wright pin, like an illustrious blonde in the 1980s. That's just how it was, for the most part. So it is kind of bizarre to live in a time in which that this is not the same standard. Now, normally you put the princess type girl at the Walmart, and she's 23 years old. You put a whole bunch of guys. Most guys are going to go straight for the princess girl. They're going to go hook that blonde up. They're going to go get that, snatch that up immediately, like it's fresh bread. And they're going to go get the hottest looking babes, like as fast as they can. No time to waste. Well, if you don't get to experience the woman of your dreams, then somebody else is, right? Your competition. So you might as well go get it before you can't get it anymore. I mean, that's just how it is. And so, although, there's all this multi-ethnic, interracial harmony on the by the wokesters, by the, far left, in real life, it really doesn't happen that way. Like, in real life, I mean, there might be coworkers that are interracial, and there are interracial relationships, sure. But it's not like a diverse utopia. It's not like this is happening for that people don't self-segregate based on language, ethnicity, religion, and so forth. So the commercials are lying that there's always, like, they always put, like, there's a black guy and then there's the blonde chick, right? Or the redhead chick. Or they put, there's always the white guy with an interracial family in the commercials these days with a black wife, right? So it's all, they mix it all up. Like, that's the way it is, or something like that. Like, it's not really, that's not an accurate representation of how people actually behave and mate and all that. So it's pathetic, but it's an agenda. It's an agenda-driven policy. It's not based on truth. It's based on a truth that they wish was the truth. So I based my reasoning on logic and facts, not the fantasies that I hope to be true. I don't base it off just a particular agenda. And so that's what the left and the communist Chinese Democrat Party, that's what they want to push, is everybody's equal in talent and strength and looks and money and all this kind of communist. This is straight out of Karl Marx. This is Marxism. It's George it's George Orwell, 1984, Orwellianism. That's what it is. And so that's the agenda that's the future that they want for America. But American citizens don't want any part of that future. So good luck with that. God bless and best of success. Peace.